All right, wonderful. So now that we're just a few minutes past time, I'll go ahead and introduce myself again. This webinar is being recorded and will be sent out to those who are attending today. Thank you for joining us. I am the director of the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. My name is Jackie Geary. We've set up a little webinar today to help answer some questions that you may have regarding any of the PPP loans that have come out or anything of the frequently asked questions that you may not have answers to. So we've got some experts here from the Small Business Administration. We're gonna allow people to kind of filter in, but what we want you to do today is to ask questions through the Q&A function or through chat. So really this is set up for you to get some questions answered from somebody live who's in our local office. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce today's panelists. So today's Q&A specialist. We've got Thaddeus Hammond here. He is the Economic Development Specialist and the DOTAR, District Office Technical Representative for the Jacksonville Women's Business Center. We also have Rosalind Bryant here, and she is our Lender Relations Specialist with the Small Business Administration. As I mentioned, they're both at the North Florida District Office, which means they're right here in Jacksonville. They serve North Florida County, and they help the Women's Business Center serve our region as well. You can see their contact information here on the screen, and we will be sending out this to all of you afterwards that you have contact information for each one of them. So before we get kind of started today, I just want to ask a quick question to get us thinking, and to kind of gauge our audience, I guess. So what is your role in the small business community? If you just take a second to kind of respond, and then we'll close out the polling and share it with everybody. But we want to know who's on the call today. So are you a provider, are you a funder, startup, existing, early stage? And while these polls are coming through, Thaddeus and Rosalind, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm gonna end the poll here in just another couple seconds, and then you're going to kick it off. Let them kind of give an introduction of who they are, and let's see some questions kind of come through the Q&A and the chat. I haven't seen any just yet, but this is an opportunity for you to get anything that you need to know in regards to what's going on in our Small Business Administration and how they can support you during this time. So sorry, I was just gonna say, as you can see with the results, we've got the majority of people on the call today are in existing business, got a few resource providers, funders, and startups. So with that, I'll mute myself and let you, Thaddeus and Rosalind, take it away.
Go right ahead, Rosalind. I'll follow you.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Rosalind Bryant, and I'm the Lender Relations Specialist for the North Florida area. What I do, I actually provide a lot of the updates and work closely with the lenders in the area to make sure that they are familiar with our programs and services and the policies that are put in place to help our small business community. So I'm here to provide any type of assistance and help you with or answer any questions that you may have regarding any of our programs and services that we have going on right now.
Well, thank you. I'm Thaddeus Hammond, and I'm an Economic Development Specialist here in the North Florida District Office. And my role is to support small business community and our partner organizations, as well as our resource partner network. This new normal as it is, this COVID-19 pandemic has really made us think about how we transition or how we take another look at our business model. And of course, one of the things that we do with SBA and the programs and services, and of course what the focus is on support, financial support to our small business community. To that end, the Paycheck Protection Program will end on August 8th, and that is for payroll. The economic injury disaster loan will be rolling on throughout the end of the year, 30 December. So as Rosalind stated, we are here to help, and answer any questions. But before we start with questions, I just want to let you know what we've done so far in the small business community. Nationwide, we've processed for PPP over 5 million loans, totaling over $519 billion. There were over 408,560 loans processed in the state of Florida, totaling over $31 billion. So, and as you can see, we've been very busy. As far as the CDFIs and MDIs, there were a total of 108,000 nationwide for $7 billion on the CDFI side, and 120,000 on the MDI side for over $10 billion. As far as the economic injury disaster loan, we've processed so far as of June 27th, 2,050,000 loans nationwide, totaling $127 billion. And for the state of Florida, we've processed over 210,000 EIDL loans, totaling over $11 billion. Now, there's still about 127 to $130 billion left in the PPP pot. So that being said, we'll take your questions.
Are you able to see the two questions that came in? We've got the first one from Talia. It says about the forgiveness process of PPP. I've been trying to understand who and where do I apply the forgiveness?
Okay, you will fill out, Tahila is the name. Is this a business? Are you an applicant or are you a lender? First of all, if you are an applicant, you would need to fill out the application and you will submit it to the lender who approved your loan. If you are a lender, right now you're taking the applications from the applicants and you will submit those to SBA when time permits.
Hello?
Jackie?
Yes.
I would, I'm actually an applicant and I don't even know if I qualify because I don't have employees. So I just wanted to know exactly how does that process work in starting and trying to start up a business? Because I'm at the startup phase of it.
Okay, I'm not sure. Jackie, is this a new question or is this someone individually calling in and referencing in? I'm not sure.
This was the same question.
Okay, so.
No,
okay.
This was a new question.
Oh, apologies. Did you call in? Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I answered the question for as far as that was written.
Yes.
Yes, that was through the lender, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So and then the call.
I can. So just so that you know, I'm taking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off. But
if you can please mute yourself. The next question we have is how long after SBA receives our application for forgiveness from our lender do you expect would we hear it back with the forgiveness decision? This comes from Tina Meskel.
Okay, Tina, SBA, once the application is received from the lender, SBA has up to 90 days to review and submit the information back to the lender.
All right, can we see some more questions come through the Q&A function?
Not at this time.
I can't see anything but the screen slide 205.
Okay.
I think oh, here's one. This one just came through.
Okay.
Mm.
All right, here's an anonymous question. What are the payroll periods that are covered under the PPP? Does it start as soon as the loan is funded?
Well, Well, actually, it covers the periods that you submitted for forgiveness when you initially applied for the loan.
The next question comes in from Nancy Boyle, one of our resource partners from the Small Business Resource Network. She says, when will the applications open for the forgiveness portion?
It will open on August, don't quote me, 10th. I believe it is, unless, and that's given that the program will end on August 8th.
Awesome, thank you. Next one comes in from Carlton Robinson. Says, as a resource provider, we are receiving lots of inquiries as to how to get ready. What recommendations would you give providers in terms of preparing entrepreneurs to be application ready for different types of loans?
Thaddeus, you want to take that? Because I'm not sure if I don't think he's talking about just the PPP.
Yeah, you're talking PPP and EIDL. Well, first things first, if it's a PPP, you must have a relationship established with your financial institution. That's first and foremost. Second of all, make sure you have good accounting records. One of the things about the PPP especially is for the loan forgiveness portion, once those loan proceeds are dispersed, you now have 24 weeks in which to present your case, if you will, back to the bank to ask for forgiveness. So when you expend 60% of those funds on payroll and 40% on mortgage interest, rent, lease payments, and utilities, you want to make sure you have a clear audit trail. So one of the things that we suggest is, hey, establish a separate account so that when you go back to your bank to ask for loan forgiveness, you have a clear trail and they can see exactly what you've spent the money, the funds on. And as you're asking for forgiveness, you can get total forgiveness. Those are, I think, key. And even with the EIDL loan, the biggest thing with EIDL is people tend to not pay attention to the detail in the short document, and that's why a lot of EIDL loans have been flagged or declined. So they've got this reconsideration process, and most notably, they look at, credit, unverified information, and any unverified information. Typically, they're talking about bank account information. You may have been off a number or something initially. So make sure you check your form, and make sure you check with that financial institution on the PPP side to ensure that you've got every document that they've asked for that they need to justify providing either payroll loan or working capital loan. Carlton, I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. Next question comes in from Jean Subner. Is the forgiveness application finalized now, or should we expect more changes before August 10th?
Well, the forgiveness application has been out for a while, so you can go and get that application. So that, I'm going to say that's finalized. That's there for the applicant to see and to review. The instructions are very clear on the application of what they should be collecting and gathering to be submitted to the lender.
Awesome, thank you. Next question, Alfreda Boney says, hi. So I have colleagues within my network that were denied the EIDL loan due to unsatisfactory credit history. Would that also make them ineligible for applying to PPP? This has frustrated a lot of people that have been affected personally when finances were hit by contract closings, etc.
No, Roz, I'll take it on the EIDL part. That is one of the biggest factors for declines we've seen is credit. But one of the things you got to do even with credit, we've had people to be denied, but a month or two later, their credit situation had changed. They went back for reconsideration and they were approved. Remember, EIDL and PPP are two totally separate loans. If you're denied EIDL because of credit, the chances are you won't be denied PPP because of credit, because that credit score is not a factor in providing the PPP loan to you. whereas credit is a factor in the EIDL loan, right? So no, you can, yeah, I know it's frustrating, but Alfreda, but yes, if you're denied on the EIDL side, please go and apply on the PPP side. And if you have both, just remember, if you're approved for both, remember that as long as you don't use the EIDL for payroll, you can have both loans.
Thank you. Carlton did mention Thaddeus, you answered his question.
Okay,
Talia
thank you.
says, does the forgiveness application must be handed to the lender by 22 weeks from the receiving of the loan?
24.
Correct.
All right. Tina says, what resources are out there to assist with the application forgiveness process? Should we go to our bank with questions if we have questions on the application? Are there companies that you engage to assist with the application?
Yes, they should go to their lender with questions regarding the forgiveness process, because the lender is the one who will review their application to make sure that they have the proper documentation to be submitted to SBA for forgiveness. Now, there may be companies out there that will assist them with that. However, we don't refer out to that because we really don't have knowledge of who are doing it and who are not.
Awesome. That's a really good recommendation. Thank you. Pamela Williams says, I received both EIDL and PPP and still not about to continue. Are there any additional funds available, or is there assistance available to help businesses get out of long-term leases?
As
Can
far
you
as,
repeat that? I'm sorry, Rosalind. Did you understand the question?
well, I see it as well, so she can repeat
okay.
it. Repeat it.
I'm sorry, I can't see it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it says, I've received both the EIDL and PPP and still not about to continue. Are there additional funds available, or is there assistance available to help businesses get out of long-term leases?
And I was going to answer, it may be, but not through the Small Business Administration. So we do not have any type of assistance right now for that.
All right, coming in next is back to the forgiveness application. What is the difference between the 8 weeks and the 24 weeks requirement?
The 8 weeks was the requirement when the PPP first was originally signed into law by the president. When this next round came through and more funds came through, there was a new interim final rule that came down and said, not only will you have 24 weeks instead of 8 weeks, but we're going to expand the use. So they went from having to use 75% of the PPP on payroll to 60% to 75%, and the utilities 25% to 40%. So it was 75-25, now it's 60-40, and it was 8 weeks, now it's 24 weeks.
All right, awesome. That was the last one I see right now here in the question box. They said thank you for that answer. I've got some of the FAQs here that just came in recently, from DC. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a question that others may want to know. So what's the maturity date of a PPP loan? You want me to go ahead and give the answer?
Yes, please.
All right, if a PPP loan received an SBA loan number on or after June 5th, the loan has a 5-year maturity. If a PPP loan received an SBA loan number before June 5th, the loan has a 2-year maturity, unless the borrower and lender mutually agree to extend the term of the loan to 5 years.
Yeah, part of the new interim final rule.
which just came out a few days ago.
Correct.
Yeah. Interest rate still the same, and there's a 10-month deferment versus a 5-month deferment on that also.
Here's another question from Nancy Boyle. There's been some talk about possible automatic forgiveness for some of the smaller PPP loans. Have you heard anything about that?
We have heard, so we have heard the same.
Yes.
We have heard the same thing you all have heard, but nothing is signed into law. So yeah, we've heard that, but I'm not sure how real that is, or whether or not it's going to come to fruition. So yeah, we
Well,
heard it, but
yeah, and Nancy, if you can hear me, I'm just smiling at you because you know better.
All right. Next question, will the SBA actually review every forgiveness application? If so, where will the staffing come from based on the number of applications outstanding?
Yes, to my knowledge, every application will be reviewed by the everyone that's coming up for forgiveness, yes, it will be reviewed. And yes, it will. And if so, where the staffing, well, that I can't answer because I'm not sure where they will find the staffing, because it's done on a centralized, in a centralized location. So I'm not sure if and who will be doing the reviewing of those applications, but I know it will be reviewed by SBA.
All right. Do you want me to go with another FAQ?
Yes, and Jaiki, when you read the FAQ, you can go ahead and do the answer that's there. That way
Perfect.
we know we won't alter the answer.
All right, awesome. So the next one I have is, can a lender sell a PPP loan into the secondary market? The answer is yes. A PPP loan may be sold into the secondary market at any time after the loan is fully dispersed. A secondary market sale of a PPP loan does not require SBA approval. A PPP loan sold into the secondary market is 100% SBA guaranteed. A PPP loan may be sold into the secondary market at a premium or a discount to par value. Gotta get some more questions in this Q&A. This time's for you all. So want to make sure that if there's anything out there that you wanted somebody live in person locally to answer, we've got them right here for you. All right, I got
Jackie,
another.
I see there are a lot of questions about the forgiveness. The Treasury and SBA website, they've got the latest forms and information on the loan forgiveness documents to include some detailed instructions. I think we provided some of the links to you, and if those don't work, let us know, and we will make sure that your audience receives all of those the links to PPP loan forgiveness.
Thank you, Thaddeus. Yes, we are going to be sending out the a document to each of the attendees today with those links available for all of the forgiveness and other information from the Treasury and SBA. All right, so I'm going to launch another poll question. Make sure you guys are all still engaged. Let's see. Let's do poll question number 2. What do you see as the best way to fund business growth post-COVID-19? Sales, loans, or investments? Let's hear what you have to say. while we're doing this poll, I'll go ahead and ask another FAQ for those out there, just throwing some questions out there that you may have along the way. So do PPP loans cover paid sick leave? The answer is yes. The loans cover payroll costs, including costs for employee vacation, parental, family, medical, and sick leave. However, the CARES Act excludes qualified sick and family leave wages for which a credit is allowed under sections 7001 and 7003 of the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. You can learn more about that on the website. All right, I'm gonna end the polling here and show the results. Most of you said sales. So with a few in loans and investments, those of you that find the best way to find business growth after sales, please share with us of what you do and kind of give us an idea in the chat. Another question for Thaddeus and Rosalind. Post-COVID-19 and PPP loans, do you foresee any changes in requirements for SBA loans? Any insight on changes in credit worthiness post-COVID, debt ratio?
Carton, right now, no, I don't. Because there are lenders out there still making loans, the regular 7A loans, and we haven't had any issues with that. So I'm gonna say right now, no. And if so, I will advise, because right now we haven't had any type of feedback from the lenders as far as any changes that need to be made. So I guess it's more of a just wait to see once this is over, or when we get past the PPP, to see if it's something that the lenders start reaching out to SBA to change policy, to make sure, just in case it would better or help the small business better if it was in effect with the regular loan program. Thaddeus?
Yes.
Do you have any input on that? What you think?
No, ma'am. You are 7A504 microloan. You're in it every day. You see it, and you are deeply involved with the Office of Capital Access. So,
Thank you.
yes.
I just thank you.
Another question came in. As a self-employed sole proprietor, does an owner distribution look up the same as a payroll?
We had an issue with just quickly. We had an issue with something like this, and if it's a K1 distribution,
I don't remember exactly what it was, so I don't want to kind of give the wrong. So if this Tahila, if she can email that to either myself or to both to either myself or Thaddeus, and then we can look at it and then respond to her, because I think that is,
yeah.
unless you remember off the top of your head, Thaddeus, I don't.
Well, we just need to know if it's a one-time distribution, which comes off the K1, or if the distribution is monthly, or is it bi-weekly? I mean, because if that's the case, we got a monthly and bi-weekly distribution, then that's almost like a normal payroll, and so they can accept the documentation you provide. If it's annually, then that's an issue, because then they say, okay, if we get taken annual distribution, then you're skipping, you're skirting taxes and things of that nature. So you got to be careful.
Correct. Thank you, Thaddeus.
Next question.
Skirting payroll taxes.
Will an approved and distributed EIDL loan affect forgiveness of the PPP loan?
No. EIDL and PPP are two totally separate loans. They have nothing to do with that. The EIDL loan, it has 30-year terms, 12-month deferment, 3.75 interest for small businesses, and 2.75 for nonprofit. So that is separate and apart from the terms and conditions of a PPP loan. So no, it won't affect you.
Next one is there a specific document or website that could be referenced that specifies allowable use of idle funds and for what time frame that the funds can be used?
Idle is a working capital loan, so you can use the idle loan for, fixed debt, accounts payable, any working capital items, anything that you would ordinarily have paid had this COVID-19 pandemic not happened. All the bills that you pay on a monthly basis are all allowable under the idle loan. If you would, I'm like, Roz, send us an email and we'll send you a sheet that details, all the different uses and those areas in which we can't touch or you can't touch.
Great, thank you. All right, let's see. Before we continue, I'm going to launch another poll. As we are resource providers out here in the community, and as we're trying to get information provided to you, we want to know where you go to find your information. It's a multiple choice answer, but this helps us, the Women's Business Center, the SBA, all the resource providers out there understand where you're going to get this information to sign up for webinars like this, or to get COVID-related information regarding to loans. This helps us understand where we can best put our efforts. And as Thaddeus mentioned, he's got several resources. So you're going to get contact information for Rosalind, for Thaddeus. You're going to get a separate PowerPoint that's got several links to the Treasury, to the loan forgiveness application, all the stuff that we have, you're going to get. I'm going to give it just a couple more seconds as I see these polls coming in. All right. So it looks like most of the people are going to our resource websites. It makes us proud, so thank you. I'm going to actually advance here, and this is kind of where I say, we're open for business. We're your resource partners here in the community that are on the forefront getting the information first. We are actually getting the information directly from the government. It's like I said, I have these FAQs that come down, and it is written, in sense for the business owner. So, going to our websites, that's what we want to hear. And with that, too, I want to share, Jack's Small Biz Help is a website that's got put in place, like maybe 5 years ago or so. And it's all the resource partners here in Jacksonville. And it's where you can find extra resource partners, tailored to your business, tailored to, your area. So we advise you to go there. Also, in response to everything that's been going on nationally into the COVID-19 crisis, covid-sb.org got put in place by the SBA with help from the Association of Women's Business Centers. So that's all the women's business centers across the country. And then all of America's small business development centers. So we are very proud of that resource page to be able to give you that information. So I wanted to make sure you have that. So let's see, we're gonna give it maybe a minute or two. And if I don't see any other questions, then we're gonna just have to shorten this up. Like I said, we will provide you with everything. If this is useful for your time, and if you felt like you got some questions that you wouldn't have been able to get, we're gonna have a feedback survey for you to fill out after this is over. After we close this Zoom call out, you're gonna get a link to a feedback survey. Like I said, that helps us give you information. So it helps us understand, is this something we should do once a month? Should we get the SBA on a call and do a live Q&A? We're out there for you. So anything that you can give us back feedback wise is extremely, extremely helpful. All right, Nancy, you got another one. Thank you so much. Rosalind, you want to hit this one, or did you already get it?
I didn't get it. I saw it, but it disappeared.
It says, I found it. It says,
I
can
answered
idle
it.
funds be used to pay off debt?
No.
Oh, that
No.
is answered,
You,
that's why.
you can't pay off debt. You can't use it for rebuilding or anything of that nature, or renovations. None of that.
And you want to make sure that you're using the funds for the correct use of proceeds, because at any given time, SBA could pull your loan to review it. So make sure you're using the funds properly.
Working capital.
Okay.
So Tina just put in, how do you document the uses of the idle loan?
You want to take that, Thaddeus?
I don't have an answer for you. That's an Office of Disaster Assistance. I would get with the closing loan officer for the closing document, and or either the Office of Disaster Assistance, and they will instruct you as to how to account for it. Again, just like on PPP, I would set up an account, and that account, if I'm ever questioned, at least you'll have a clear audit trail of where you spent the money, how you spent the money, what you spent the money on, and it's all going to be for working capital purposes. As long as you can show that, then you're good. So I would let your accounting system speak for you. If there are other documents that they think you can use, it may ask for your financial statement. But yeah, get with the Office of Disaster Assistance and set up another system so you can track and manage the progress and status of where that money's going.
Awesome. Tina says, thank you. I got another one. What are the consequences for the business owner who uses the funds improperly?
That's
Another loaded one.
yeah, Nancy. Well, well, I would just say it may not be good, because I'm not one that will put in place the consequences. However, I know that it's best to use the funds properly.
If you are approved for an idle loan and the dollar amount is more than what you need, can you take less, and how does the borrower do that?
Yeah. You can take less, but whoever that is, send me an email and I will send you the instructions on how to send that back to them.
That's Annie. That's Annie answering.
Annie? Annie.
Yeah.
Okay, Annie, send me an email.
I think she's asking the question for the audience. So
Audience, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can if you don't want to use the whole thing, you can give part of it back or all of it back.
You can.
If you want to request an increase, you can go through the reconsideration process to request an increase also.
Thanks, Annie, for that question.
All right, I see Tracy has raised her hand. Tracy, are you able to put something in the Q&A? If I need to request an increase, how do I do that? Could you send me an email?
Sure. If you would send an email to myself and Thaddeus, one of us will reply to you with the information on sending you the reconsideration in.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Go ahead and give it just one more minute. See if any other questions are on the top of anybody's minds. Like I had mentioned, please visit these resource pages that are here on the screen. COVID-sb.org is going to be the most up-to-date information for small businesses. And then our Jack Small Biz Help, that's been out there for a long time, so that's somewhere you can go to find local resource partners here in North Florida. This webinar was recorded, so we'll get this all transcribed. We'll get it aggregated and put it on a website shared to those who attended today, as well as those who attended will receive the PowerPoints with links, like we mentioned. I knew there'd be one more coming in. All right, Elfrida says, there has been a lot of misinformation floating around social media concerning these loans and forgiveness processes. What can we do as community leaders to offset that?
Always get your information from either the Treasury site, because that is updated, or the SBA's, the PPP site for the SBA. Because that information is up when we receive the information, when it actually in black and white is updated on those sites. So you go there and you will see the most current information. They'll have the date by it, so you can click on it. So as far as the forgiveness information, that is up there. It has the information there for the borrowers, and it has the information for the lenders side. So you kind of can see both of them. So that is the best way to offset that, I guess, the bad information that is floating around out there.
No, that's a great question. I mean, it goes back to the polls that we just asked you. Where do you get, the information to receive? And we highly recommend going directly to those resource pages. Like Rosalind just mentioned, going to the Treasury. You want to know, you got to go there before you watch your news and find it online, because that is where you're getting the actual rule from the government. All right, well, Rosalind, Thaddeus, thank you both so very much for sharing your time with us. Let us pick your brain and ask you questions, fly by the seat of the pants. So we really do appreciate it for all that you do for us at the Women's Business Center and in our community. Thank you.
You're welcome. And again, if anyone has any questions outside of this that they probably didn't want to ask, they can either send it to myself or Thaddeus, and or Jackie, if you have her email address, and she will make sure that we get the questions and we can provide the answers to you.
Yes, good point. Thank you. I know sometimes it can be intimidating to
Yes.
ask a question in front of an audience. Definitely. So we're here for you. We just wanted to make this an opportunity to be live, show you our faces, and to kind of get you back engaged, show my face again, and to welcome you to this opportunity, to get answers from us. So we'll shorten this up and end right now, but thank you all so much. When we close out, you will get a feedback link, and thank you for spending your time with us. We'll follow up with those presentations for you.
You all take care.
Thank you.
Bye.